This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah.
So you have
So
mentioned one data, Tomcat, everything is one courses what you
yes,
are dealing with. Huh?
yeah. So
Okay,
many parallel batches running. No, so that's the thing. So this is a
okay,
KX master. Okay, and clone it.
okay. You said SRE also is running, that is on weekends. Is that same thing? You are
Yeah.
going to handle that one?
Yes, yes.
Only one batch is happening or multiple batches are happening?
No, only one right now.
Okay, you are only dealing with that.
Yeah. So here, this is a worker. Okay. So I created two machines. One is master, one is worker. Now I'm going to start this master first.
Box K8 master.
Yeah.
So basically, what is the worker node you have taken? Ubuntu or Red Hat? Which one?
Both are CentOS 7.
CentOS. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Afzal
Root.
also joined.
Yeah.
Yes, how are
One,
you?
two, three. Yeah. So what I'll do, I'll just get the IP address. The IP address is 14, but I want to little bit modify this IP address. So SSH, I want to just modify. Why? Because next time, because these sessions will continue for next few days, and if IP address will get changed, then I'll be in a trouble just like last time. So that's the problem. So here I want to just fix that IP address. So SSH root at the rate of 192.168.1.1.14. So here this is a 14. Yes, Rajesh 123. Clear the screen. NMDUI, and here I am editing the IP address and manual show. So here I'm adding 192.168.1.31, which I'm setting up. Gateway is 192.168.1.1, and DNS server 8.8.8.8.8. So that's the things. So I set it up all this required stuff. What was that? 31, right? Yeah, 31. And click OK and back deactivate. Okay, so now deactivate has done it. Now I have to IPA. So the IP address is nmtui activate back quit IPA and 31. Now this is the master, which is 31. I made it, and worker I will make it 32. So I don't think so my house will have any other devices which will raise to that level 32. So 31, 32, I made it. So now this, I'll just check this also. Ping 192.168.1.31, and I'm able to reach out, no problem. Now worker also I'm starting it 32. You need to have a very reliable systems to keep trying that options. So if I don't change the IP address, then uh, Kubernetes which you configure, they hard code with IP address. So you have to do lots of changes, which I don't want to do that. So nmtui, and here go to connection, edit, and show here address, which is 192.168.1.32, and here gateway 192.168.1.1, and DNS, which is 8.8.8. It's a Google DNS 8.8. Now should be done. Okay. Now back. Okay. So now IPA and it's 30. Okay. So I have to deactivate, activate, back, quit, clear the screen, IPA, and then IP address is 32. Now I'll just check this is accessible from my box or not. 32. Okay, so this is the IP changes I did it just to avoid any future problem. Now after that, I'm going to set up a Kubernetes with the container D, not with the Docker. Okay, so this is the latest revision which we have. So 2.3, though we have a 2.4 or 2.5, but I'm going to set up 1.2.3. So let's get started. So SSH root at the rate of 192.168.1.31. This is the master. Okay, yes. The first thing what I'll do is configure the host name in CentOS. So what is a host name? A host name is a local host, which I don't want. So here host name I want to settle, and that is CentOS host name CTL command. So yeah, this command will set me host name using this command. Okay, so I'm going to set up this host name for this, which is IP31, right? Yeah. So here, what is the name? So host name, I'll make it Kubernetes master. Okay, this is done. Now host name I'll validate. Host name I'll validate. So master. Now same thing I will do with uh, 32, which is worker. So yes, Rajesh 123, and here I will run this command to worker 1. Okay, in future maybe I need a worker 1. So worker -1. Okay, host name done. So yep, I got it. Close this, and here exit and clear the screen, and now this is the one. So Rajesh 123. So now its master has come, so I wanted to see this one, so I know where I'm running the command. Okay, so masters, now next thing is I'm going to set up a cluster with container D, Kubernetes combination with container D. So Kubernetes 1.23. So this is the detail what we have. You can follow also this documents, it will help you with that. So now this is the for Google. Just a second. No, hold on. I need for 1.2. Just a second. So this is for Ubuntu, but I have for the just a second. These all are Ubuntu. So just let me check that CentOS 7 is there or not. So cluster setup, previous. This is for latest. Okay, so let me see that. Install master for CentOS 7 Kubernetes. Okay, So updated code I wanted. So when it got updated, this is pretty good actually. So what I'll do, I will follow the different documentations for this. A little time consuming, but that will work for us. And that is here. So first thing, I'm going to install the Docker. So I did this, stop the firewall. Uh, so stopping the firewall, enter. Now disable the firewall. It's not good practice, but for learning purpose, we are doing it. Disable the firewall. Now swap off this, disable the memory that is required here, and this is also, then shut down and reboot. Done. So now after that you have to install the Docker. These are the commands for the installing the Docker. Let it come. Yeah. So Rajesh, 1, 2, 3, done. Clear the screen. Now I am going to install this Docker now. This is the command line. Let's wait for it.
So you're installing Docker in master also, right?
Yes. Docker anyways you need in all the versions, but container D should be the container management system runtime.
No, in master you are installing the Docker.
Yes,
Which
this
component
is the
will be
master.
used in the Docker over there in production in master?
Master, if you look at the Kubernetes cluster, okay,
Uh,
so in terms of tools, which will have multiple tools, for example, Docker, uh, Kubelet, uh, Kubelet, and kubectl, and kubeadm, and container D,
no, you are
container
installing
D.
Docker and Kubernetes. That's what my question is. Going forward for 1.23, Docker is deprecated, right? Then why you
Yes,
install
yes.
Docker in master?
So what I'm doing right now, uh, here, uh, this guide which we have right now, this is for 1.2. Right now I am having CentOS. Now this all these commands to make it for the CentOS, convert into the CentOS, it will take some time. What I am doing right now, I installing all the utilities and creating a clusters with
Rajesh, my
with
question is, one second. Rajesh. My question is, you said for Docker 1.23, for Kubernetes 1.23, Docker was deprecated. Now again you are
mm,
installing Docker. What was the reason? If containerd is available.
okay, I'll just put it in this way. Understand this way. Your straightforward answer is, right now I'm setting up the cluster in CentOS 7, okay, and I'm using Docker for Kubernetes. Okay, I'm using Docker
It
for
is
Kubernetes,
deprecated. That's
and the
what last discussion we have done. That's what we have discussion in the last time. One point. Okay, it is 1.22. That's all.
two two.
I got my answer.
Yeah. So here one more thing. So if you look at this, how this container management is happen. So Docker call the container D, okay, till up to 1.22. Okay, from the 1 point container D, from 1.23 is directly being called. So what I'm doing right now, I'm installing the cluster, and after that I will upgrade that little bit later with all the commands. Okay,
Okay,
that
fine,
I'll do
fine.
offline, not now, because I don't want to create commands in.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So now I am copying the command quickly. So yes, so this is the command which I run last time. Yeah. So I think this one, docker repo. So now let's run this command. All these are copy paste command. So uh, you can use it as it is. All these commands which I am sharing with you will be working. Now Istio has no relation, no impact on the how you configure the Kubernetes. Okay, Istio has no business over there. Okay,
Okay, Istio
so
doesn't require any container related things.
yeah,
It's
it
never
has
bother
whether
about it.
you
Only Kubernetes.
whether you run on the Docker or uh, Containerd or Cryo or Rocket.
Fine. In this package, it is by default container D is installing. I am able to see
Yeah,
the packages.
yeah.
Policy Docker C CLI. Okay. Now
No,
that
this is a
particular package is separately given, as you
hmm.
mentioned, the container D itself separately given in the going forward.
Ha. In
So
this
that is needed.
code, yeah, no. In earlier also Containerd was there, but it was not directly involved in it.
Okay.
I'll show you this. So almost done. I'll share with you all this URL through the chat window. So you can also offline do that. So I install the Docker. I'm going to enable this Docker. And finally, I'm going to start this Docker. A starting Docker is not required. Now, you know what? In 1.22, Kubernetes changed the C groups driver. So this is a special things you have to do because in 1.22. Again, different version, different specification. That's where we lose lots of time. But because of I do this continuous demo, so I have all
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
ideas.
Please do that one. Please do that one, Rajesh. That's okay. Please, it is
Yeah,
interesting for me also. Please,
yeah,
Afzal, if you don't mind, we can go with that.
yeah. So now here, this is the Docker service. We have to modify
So
this
you,
line.
you are creating the service right over here.
No, no, no. I'm saying for the Kubernetes 1.22, Kubernetes has changed the C groups driver from the C group FS to system D. So if you don't do that, you
Okay.
cannot run Kubernetes actually. And that is what
Okay.
I'm telling. Okay.
Okay.
So this is
Okay.
the
Got it.
prerequisite. Yeah, this is the prerequisite of it. So without that, you cannot move it. So I'm doing it and replacing this to this. So save. Now I'll just reload the Docker. All this command will work as it is tested, has been tested 100 times. Okay. Now, if you use Ubuntu, then you can use other tutorials of mine. So this is done. Now this is a repository update, repository update of YAM. So this is the one command in one go. Done. Now this is a set enforce you can do, which Kubernetes needs it and paste it. There's some problem in that.
Give the file name. Give the file name. File name is are missing. It is
Yeah,
in
yeah,
second line.
yeah, yeah. So enter. So now done. Now this command is very important. So this command will install 1.22. Okay. Now if you want to go for 1.23 to 3 or something latest, then you have to change the container runtime also, which is container D. Anyways, container D got installed, but some configuration has to be done in order to be make it a default container D compared to Docker. Now I have a steps for that. I can explain you that one, but not now. We'll not implement because that's not our topic. So
Rajesh, please do that one. Please do that one.
no, I mean this is a Ubuntu code actually. It will not work in
Okay.
just a second. Hold on. So what steps you need to do? I'll show you just a second. So, mm, so the code which you have to convert in order to migrate here, these are the codes. Now, this codes I have not tested in the CentOS. That's the reason I'm not running it. But this code will convert into this code also. This whole code you have to run it to migrate from the Docker D to Container D. I have not tested in CentOS, so I'm not running it. But in Ubuntu, if you run, it is tested. Okay, so now that is done. Now, finally, the things which I'm going to do, which will make my cluster up and running, which will be this one. Okay, so this is the one command, and this is another command. So all this 1.22 version I'm installing it from here. So these documents you can follow blindly.
In Google Cloud, as of now, the current version is 1.22 only, right? Stable version. They're using
Yes,
release version.
1.20. Yeah. Always they are running 6-month older versions.
Okay.
And here this is the now finally the super command which I'm going to run, which will set up my cluster, is this one, init. Done. So my master is almost ready in 2 to 3 minutes, next 2 to 3 minutes. And I want to store all this information, Istio. So now let me tell you, there are hundreds of ways to set up a cluster in Kubernetes. Depends on the platform. It's not important for you to how you have set up a cluster, but the important for you is like your Kubernetes cluster should be up and running for Istio. Okay, so
Yeah.
that is a
Yes.
something. So let's see that. So basically it's downloading all the images and all. Okay, there is a one thing which I skipped it. I will do that in next session, and that is, I'll tell you this one. So I should have a 2 CPU, which I missed out, minimum. So that I did not do that. And this is a this warning, you can do that also, like DNS server, the one which is reading the local, sorry, Google, which is not detecting. So that's okay, but these two things is got missed out, so no problem. If it's success, wonderful. And here it is. So next time when I reboot this machine, I will improve this CPU and all. It will be good for performance. So my master machine is ready. Okay, and this is done. Now I'm going to set up a workstation also for this. So I'll just store this code, Istio day 1, done. Now I'm going to create a workstation for it, and for that uh, here, and here, this is my workstation. Setup is done. What is this problem? Okay, sorry. Second command did not get successful. So third command got failed. So you have to see the output also. Now, this is something, these commands we have written here. So all these things there. So can we verify this cluster is okay or not? Now, I'm using the VNet for the networking. So this is the VNet driver, which I'm having, networking driver. Done. So more or less, master and workstation both are ready for use it. I'll have to just wait for a few seconds more, and my master is ready. See here, control plane master. and just wait for a few seconds more. It should be ready. So that's all. Now workstation, I will set it up. So for that worker, I will pause it. Worker, what I will do, go to setting and improve the CPU. Where is the CPU? Processor, yeah, here. Make it 2. Okay, and then start this machines. So okay, so now it's ready. You see the master is ready, workstation is ready. Now we have to work with workstation. Any questions so far?
Rajesh, related to the CNA, whatever you have given wave network, right?
Weave network, yeah. You can use any
Okay.
network, that's not a problem. Any network.
Any differences if you go with Calico and wave network? Any decisive things are there?
Weave, Weave is a overlay network and Calico is a L2 network. Depends on your requirement in your organization. You can decide.
In
There are
generally,
lots of
what is
those.
the default? In generally, what is the default one you are using?
For
In
my
a
organization, I'm using,
Calico.
say, if you're using EKS, they have their own network. If you're using GKE, they have their own network. So if you're using GKE, there is no option for you. But let's say if you want to set up your own cluster, that's where the option is coming. So right now I've set up my own clusters using the some virtual machines. So here I've
Okay.
applied the Weave
There
Calico.
is no CNA is defined. Last time I discussed it with you. There is no CNA can be defined, and CSA also there is no defined definition available for GKE for Google Cloud. That's what I heard, and that's what I have experienced.
Can you repeat one more time?
CNI and CSI, both are things are not available, and CRI also.
They have their GKE have their own CNI. They have developed their own CNI.
Uh,
So GKE is a hosted uh, Kubernetes platform. So they have their own
and
CNI,
this
which
is,
is
and Rajesh, one more confirmation needed. This is applicable for EKS also.
EKS also have their own CNI. See, understand this way. If you go and take the VM from AWS and set up your own cluster, manage your own master, you have a flexibility to install your own networking. Okay. Now, if you go
Okay.
and take the VM from them, like AWS or Google or whatever it is, and you say, no, 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 you manage my master, they will use their own networking. They will not use go for Calico or VMnet.
Okay.
EKS is a managed one. GK is a managed one. You cannot customize the networking.
Customized EKS and customized GK is available in the market.
No, that's what I said. You cannot use that. They not allow GK
Okay.
networking. If you uh, see here. So they have written. See, networking is something anyone can write it. Okay, for Kubernetes networking, anyone can write it. So see here. If you see that. See here. Do not manually make changes to the nodes because they are overwritten by GK, and your clusters may not function properly. The only reason access divider something. So they have their own networking policies. So when because master is managed by them, so they control the networking also. Getting your points?
Okay. Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So if you install your own cluster, then you have a flexibility. Now I am doing something for uh, workstation. So it will be faster. Just give me 2 seconds. So host name I did it already. Stopping the firewall. Stopping the firewall just for the good practice, nothing else. Here and swap up and sudo and reboot the machine. Now we have to install the Docker intruder. So just give us some more time. Rajesh 123. Now I'm installing directly Docker and following this one. And done. Here these are the commands, and I would request you to keep your clusters also ready, otherwise only by seeing it you will not be able to learn, because there's so many files, so many configuration. Only by looking at it you will not understand anything, because I will only copy paste the file after explanation, uh, and if you don't go through running your own file you'll not be able to see that what changes are happening.
For worker node also we have to change the Docker file, this container D configurations.
No, Docker in any nodes of the cluster, you need to have a Docker plus container D. Both are needed. Now the question is,
You
which is
last time you have changed some modification for container D, right?
no, I have not
You
changed
made
so
some
far.
changes. The master you have changed for
This
container D.
special entry, this C group driver. I'm doing that one
Yes.
for the worker also.
So worker also it is needed, for master also it is needed.
Yes, yes. Every component. That's what I was explaining you. You said
Okay.
something. So I was explaining
Okay.
you this all tools required in the master and worker. Only the Kubernetes component defines which is master and worker. So for example, master, you need API server, you need controller manager, you need scheduler, and then a proxy, and then etc. Now in worker you only need proxy, and that's all. Yeah, that's all.
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Container D not required. Container D not required in worker.
No,
It
no,
is
it's
also needed, right?
required. Container D is required in worker also. Container D is required in worker also. See, this is
Yes.
required to master plus worker. All machines you require. Docker, kubelet, kubectl, kubectl, and container D, and CNI also. So that means list of installation of tools will be same for master and worker. So if you see that, that's what I'm doing. I would suggest you spend some time with the Kubernetes architecture topic. It will help you.
Sure, sure, sure.
And done. So now my worker is almost set up. Just 2-3 minutes more, and after that we'll set up the done. So now after that I'm setting up the this one, copy paste. Without copy paste you cannot type everything, so you have to have a handy everything. And this one done, and after that this is the 1.22. Now don't run this command. No, you have to run this command. Let it happen, and then I'll tell you what you don't need to run in worker. So master and worker, there is only one difference. In the master you run kubedium init. In the worker you don't run the kubedium. That's all. And done. Now this you cannot run in the master worker. So then you'll ask me what is the you should run. So see, 1 to 8 to set up a worker, I did it. Step number 8, which is here, which is here. This is one. This is the step. And 9a should not do that. Then what you should do? The join command. So if you see that here, this is the join command. So where is my join command? Here I stored it already. This is the command. It has a, this command will make that worker for the master. Okay. So done. And there is a problem here. This problem I was knowing. It's okay. So I will do this. So this file vi proc sys, you should do that net bridge hyphen nf hyphen call. I'll just write it. And here and what should be done? Just can give me 2 seconds. So I'll search for DevOps cool. The file name, I don't want to make a mistake. So that's the reason. I have all the errors. If you search like this, the way I'm searching, you will have all the solutions faster, because all this error I tends to record it. Okay, so just a second. PI and update this file with this entry and save it and validate it. I fixed this error. Now I'll rerun this join command and should be okay now. Yeah, so this command, whichever I did, you can repeat with the 10 worker, 20 worker and all. That's okay. Now worker, I will close it. It's successfully done. So I'll go to the workstation. Workstation means my master, which is here. Clear the screen. And now I will go to 31, which is my master workstation. Rajesh 123. And now I'll just validate my cluster health, kubectl get node, and perfectly fine. Did you find any problem so far?
No, if you see that roles, the label was not been given as a worker node. For that, what we have to do?
Nothing, is just edit
Roles.
this work. This is a, this
Roles.
will not impact any functionality of Kubernetes. You can edit
That's
this
okay.
and add this.
No. I just
Edit,
wanted to. My curiosity, I am asking to get the roles as a worker node. What we have to do?
edit this node and edit that field here. So go for that roles. Where is that? Locate that and modify that worker. This is a custom. It's like labeling. Okay, that has no impact on the functionality.
No,
Very
we
simple.
have around 230 role, 30 worker nodes are there. I just wanted to give for everywhere. Then it
One
is
more
very.
thing. Don't get confused with the RBAC roles versus this role. This is the two
Uh,
different things. Okay.
yes.
Yeah. This is not RBAC roles. Okay. So now I have a clusters ready to use it. Now next thing is now I have to install the Istio. So I will install that. I'll not go for my own documentation like last time, because I after that session I studied that one and found out lots of deprecation has happened, and that is not working. So that steps I don't want to get problem with it. So first thing, let's go and install this Istio. Now there are a lot of ways to install the Istio. So here you see that using Istio CTL you can install, using Helm you can install, multi-cluster you can install, using the external control panel also you can install. So many ways to do that. Operators also you can install, Kubernetes operator, Kubernetes Helm, and multi-cluster. But right now, because if you want to learn, then it will be easy for you to start with a step by step. So go for the first method, which is called install with Istio stuff. Now you read all this thing and here download Istio release blah blah blah. Now I'm going to show you the demo for that. So this is my, and here I'm going to download the release version, I mean Istio CTL. So how do I download the Istio CTL? Just all these commands are available freely. You can just do this. This command will download, and also same time it will install also. So this is the something which you have to do that. Sorry, this is one. And after that, this is something for the different architecture maybe. Or okay, this is a different version actually. I don't need it. I am okay with the latest version. So go for this directory after this here, and inside that there'll be bin. Inside that there'll be Istio files. Uh, so here you got into that. All these sample applications which you have here, some of this application will use it for the demo. And Istio CTL, the one which you need it, you have in the bin directory. So that's I am going to install it. Now what I am going to do, I'm going to set as a path. This is just to set a path. It will take as a current directory and set in a path. So first you see here, I'm just running the HTOCTL and it's not detecting. But now if I run this command and done, and HTOCTL installed, that's all. So it's just a file, that's all. Now Istio utility, Istio CTL, we got it. After that, we're going to install the Istio. Now Istio basically is a one kind of combination of packages which includes some services, some namespaces, some deployments, and stuff like that. Okay, so all this thing we can do that. We can do that. So how do you do that? So there is one configuration profile which is called demo, and now this profile basically help you to install the default Istio installations. Now if you want to install, if you want to customize it, anything installations and all that we can do somewhere in the mid of the session, then you can
Rajesh,
go for the,
just now there was a network latency. Can you repeat that one after getting the Istio command? What was the next thing you told?
yeah, so I was trying to tell you, using Istio CTL, okay, we need to install Istio to the Kubernetes cluster.
Okay.
Okay, so now for installing the Istio, we have to provide some configuration. So
So
what
profile need to be
what it
given
has
for
done?
default.
Yeah, what Istio has done it, they created one profile which is called demo profile. This is for the learning.
Okay.
But later point of the time, if you want to configure the customize the installation, then you can modify the configuration profile, and we can do that. Right now, I'm not doing it and complicating it. So this command
By default, the
basically,
configuration profile is available.
yes, it's there in this
Can
code
you
here
open
somewhere in the
that?
manifest.
See it in the command. Just show me that profile file. Okay.
Uh, just see here.
Manifest.
This is a
Okay.
profile.
Profile.
Okay,
Can
so
you
all
open
this thing
the
is
file?
there, but right now we are using demo profile. Okay, if you want to
Okay.
customize
Okay.
it,
Okay. By default, any profiles, whatever we are using, it is available over here.
yes, I'm using demo one because of I want to
Can
go
you
in
open
that.
the template file? What is the content inside that one?
These some options which will be passed to the your deployment file. So just mm, see. So these all are, it's an operator. It's a CRD actually, custom resource definition operator.
Istio
Okay,
operator is coming.
yeah.
Okay.
So here these are the CPU, RAM, all this port number and all. If you want to customize, we can do that later. Okay,
Okay, it creates all the required resources for this particular Istio as of ready.
correct. Yes.
Understood.
Yeah. So now what I'm
Okay,
going
you
to
can.
do, I'm inside, I have to be in this side, this directory, and I'm going to run this command. Which command?
Okay. So if
Why
you give
this?
only Istio CTL install means it won't work out. Just
No,
try
you
that
have
one.
to, one profile is default. You did not notice over there. One profile was default. If you don't give it, then it will take a default.
Okay, can you give that kubectl API resource server API resources right
No.
now? What are the anything is no. What are the resources created as of now from Kubernetes pod?
These are the
kubectl
resources over there.
no kubectl just give the command. Right now you have not installed
No, I have not installed.
kubectl
No, was
get
not trying to
API server,
get it.
API resources.
Okay, just a
kubectl
second. Hold,
API.
hold on, hold on, hold on. See here.
Okay. Namespace.
There's no nothing has been created. It's a fresh
That's okay.
Kubernetes cluster.
Fine. Next
Yeah,
step. Now you can
I was
create.
creating it actually.
Okay.
Okay, huh. So now remember that if you run this one, then these are the components will be installed. Istio core will be installed. Istio D will be installed. Ingress gateway will be installed. Ingress gateway will be installed, and egress and egress, and these are the components will be installed. Okay. Now
Where
each
it
of
is
these
installed,
components,
separate namespace. Where it is installed, a separate namespace or by default.
no, there will be one namespace created for the Istio. I'll show you that.
So that is available in the profile.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
So now it will take, I think, a few minutes because lots of images will be downloaded and get it started. So just hold on for a second. So now here is Istio core installed, processing resources. So one is got installed, second one is in process. Just wait for it.
Approximately how much time it will take to bring up the Istio only normally if
3 to
everything
4
looks good.
minutes, I guess. Depends on my internet speed also. I'm in home right now, so it should be taking less time because it's a home
No.
network I'm using.
Okay. And why I'm asking if
Basically, the
we
time
go
consuming time is consumed only by the download speed because creating a container, pods, and all, it's just a matter of seconds.
okay.
Okay, so almost everything is done. Okay, now this notes, whatever you get it, please take a note of it actually. So this is something which you have installed it everything. Now what the version which you're installing 1.14, and if you want to upgrade it and all stuff like that, you can do that also. So that is done. Okay, that is done. So we installed just
Rajesh, can you go to the namespace? I just wanted to see that Istio namespace is created or not.
just a second.
Istio system is created. Okay.
See that you need to study these components very well. So these are the pods actually. Okay.
COD, ingress, and egress. These three
Huh.
parts only created. Okay.
Huh. So if you see here,
Can
egress.
you
If you
give CTL API resources? Give CTL API resources.
Okay,
Next time
there
I
you
will
get
try
there you get
something.
so earlier if you see that earlier they had a lots of like 56 resources. Now anything, just a second, hold on.
Now this one we have not examined earlier.
No, I have count for that. So
Okay,
56
seven.
plus, so whatever the extra it got it. Now
It
I'll
is
show you that one also. So here if you see that uh,
graph with
comes
Istio.
to,
Same
yeah,
command
just
with Istio.
just a second.
Everything alpha beta.
Yeah, still it's not confirmed. So see here, these components,
No, graph
here
with
you have,
Istio. So that I graph with Istio.
huh,
Uh,
grep. So these components and few more
Count
actually there.
26.
It's not coming with a grep, but you'll have to identify. So these are the things you see there.
IO, DR, GW, SC, VS,
Huh.
virtual services, worker load and worker load groups.
This is important. Virtual services. Okay.
Okay. Everything should be true means it is enabled. By default, it is coming with enable only. We no need to
Aha,
give
no, no,
any.
no, 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 no. True means these resources you can create within a namespace. False means that resources is a cluster wide. Don't get confused.
Okay, okay. So this is created only inside this Istio namespace only, correct?
No, any namespace. Any
False
namespace.
means
Okay,
false means.
I'll put it in this way. See, node is a global resources for Kubernetes. Okay, so it's a
Yes.
true. It will be namespace false. Namespace false. I'll show you this here. This is a node false. Pod can be created only in the namespace, correct? So that's the reason true.
Uh,
Now coming back to this question, these all resources can be created in only namespaces inside a namespace. Cannot be at a reference at the cluster level. Like a PV is a cluster level. PVC is a namespace level.
okay. Okay. These objects can be created inside namespace only. Any
Namespace.
namespace.
Any namespaces you can create.
So clearly it
Okay.
is mentioning that this Istio object is not relevant to any Kubernetes master or anywhere. It is inside the namespace where we are creating Istio.
Yes. Yes. Namespace,
Okay,
by the way,
fine.
it's a virtual grouping, so it's not having any specific areas or something.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So something I was doing. Yeah. So this is the stuff installation confirmation. I'll just store it and get ns like this. You can run these commands easily. Now we got the installations done. Okay, so now we'll have to continue and installing some of the applications. So here I have completed this installation. Now this step is very important and you have to do that. Remember that there is one sidecar pod container will be deployed to each pod. Okay, that is called vEnvoy actually proxy. Okay, so in order to allocate the proxy, you have to see there's a namespace, correct? And if you want some of the services from that particular namespace to be managed by Istio, then you have to add this uh, particular what do you say label. So
Okay. If you
I'll,
enable enable proxy by default, you will be creating it as a sidecar or how it is.
no, sidecar will be created. See, envoy containers will be created in a namespace where this label is activated. Simple.
Okay.
Istio will deploy the container only and only if this label is there. So what we are doing right now is adding a namespace, which is the default namespace. Everyone gets it. Okay, see here. This is a default namespace. Typically, most of the people work in a deploy a default one. So here I am labeling it. So before that, I will show you here kubectl kubectl get describe ns name of it default, and you see here there is no labels right now. There's only one labels right now, which is here. Now I'm going to run this code and see that you got it one more label. So any namespace which has this label will be having sidecar deployment. So here it says add a namespace label to instruct Istio to automatically inject what proxy. This is called envoy sidecar proxy when you deploy your application later. That means if you do not do this, that means this issue cannot manage the traffic of that particular service, the namespace pod services, whatever it is. Make sense?
So one second. So in sense, if you provide the Istio injection in the AML flow in the Docker node, if you say that it is true, by default, NOV proxy will be installed in that particular part. Is the understanding correct?
Yes.
Okay. Let me explain in a clear way. I wanted to clarify this one. I was stuck up here only. A application which is having Istio uh, Istio injection is equal to true, then there is nothing to be done from a developer or an operator or SRE whoever. By default, InnoV proxy will be there for the particular part. Is that correct understanding?
By the way, this is just a label.
Yeah, yeah. Just injecting that label, that's more than enough, so that InnoV proxy will be created automatically by
Yeah,
Istio.
so the moment the label is active for the namespace, Istio will deploy the envoy in the deployment in your application later upon the time. That means there is a one pod. Just a second, hold on. In a simple way of saying, if you deploy the applications, let's say this is your applications, okay, and here there is only one container. This is the pod, okay, this is a pod, okay,
Ah.
and here there is only one container. Now if that label is missing, the sidecar envoy proc container will not come. If it is there, then each pod they will add a sidecar proxy container also.
That's
Each
what.
pod.
By default, it will be container will be created by Istio itself. There is no special action should be taken by anyone.
I repeat, Istio will not create any container as such and pod. Basically, Istio will manage the traffic. What I'm trying to say here is, if you enable this label for that particular namespace, then what will happen whenever you deploy application next time? Then there is a envoy will be deployed from the Istio side as part of operator default.
Hmm.
Okay, let's keep this for some time. We'll anyways experience that while going further. Okay, for time
Fine.
being,
Sorry,
you
one
have to
quick
hard
question.
code. Hello.
So this is just we are deploying on the namespace level, right?
Yes, this is just we are adding a label. So this label will make sure that whenever you deploy any application in a default namespace, that means
Mhm.
Istio will add a envoy to each application you deploy. Application means pod. This is the pod.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
earlier, what?
I got it. Yeah, that's fine. My question is that so let's say if we deploy on the namespace level and tomorrow I deploy some legacy application and I don't want them to have the sidecar. So can
Mhm.
I exclude that?
Yes, that option is there. But let me tell you here, in that case, you will not be able to manage the traffic of those containers
Yeah,
through
that's actually
Istio.
my that's actually my goal is to not manage those because those are legacy. I don't want them to be managed.
So there
So
is a two
my
ways. There is a two
mm,
ways. Do one thing. You
mhm.
do one thing. Don't for those namespace. Don't add this label. That's a simple one.
Okay,
Second
okay,
method
okay.
is while
Hmm.
creating the
Hmm.
deployment. Okay, you say you have to write some rules, which I'll show you that later from the time. Where you say do not deploy the sidecar. Disable. Keep it the sidecar off for that.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
In the
let me do
deployment
that.
file in itself, you can
Mhm.
specify that. So easiest way, create a separate namespace for your legacy application. Remember that namespace is free,
Mm,
cheap, and there's no
mm.
effort required for that. So for legacy application, you have a legacy namespace, and for new application, you have a new namespace. That will be more simpler actually, rather than
Yeah,
complicating the deployment file for the engineers.
yeah, that makes sense. Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, so now after this, what we are going to do, I'm going to deploy some sample applications. Okay, so Istio has been deployed, and all these notes also I'm sharing with you. I'll just share later. Now let's deploy the sample application. Now this application which you can use still straightforward. I have a same application, but this will be working in the older version of Istio. So that URL anyways I'll share with you if you want to use for the older version of Istio, which I was using last time. So these applications which you have here in the demo 2 and demo 2 here, these are the applications. Okay, but this I don't want to take a risk deploying this application because this was working flawless with the older version of it. So right now I'll just go for this application only. This is a located in the same directory which you downloaded. So here under the samples, okay, and here you have so many applications, right? One of the application which is a book info, which you see here, and let me ls just get comfortable with it, book info, and here you have all this related applications. Okay, so I'm going to deploy platform cube and book info. So let me show you the platform. That is interesting thing. And cube, and these are the, see, so if you really want to understand some, this is a dummy application, by the way, developed by Istio. But yeah, if you really want to understand, go through each and every files and understand the implementation, especially that every implementation in terms of ingress and that applications and all. Some of the part anyways I'll explain it to you, but yeah, it's good to go and check this all this stuff. Okay, so let me deploy these applications. It will take 3 to 4 minutes again. So enter. Okay, so now this application deployed faster because maybe that all the images is already downloaded. So created, can we check that? So again, check the status. It will take 2 to 3 minutes to get this up and running. So now see that. Now what, this is the default namespace, and you know what, you should also see this command also, namespace. Just a second, hold on. See here, so these are the space. This command I forgot to run last time. You should check the output after the Istio installation itself. So there are some services which you get it. Okay, just hold on, clear the screen, little big. Why this is coming slow? Hold on, I want to show you the clear view. Still it's not coming. So here, just after the installation only, please spend some time to look at the services also. Yeah, so here, if you look at it, these are the services. These are the services you got it, 3 services you got it. Okay, so one thing which is important to look at it, Istio gateway, if you look at it, this is pending. Why is pending? Anyone have idea why is pending?
There is no load balancer has been defined as a.
So here I cannot have a load balancer at all because I'm running in a this one would say my laptop. So I need to work around with this port number. Okay. So if you are not sure about the concept of services, then before getting into virtual services, you just spend some time with DevOps School Kubernetes services. Okay, so you must attend this video. It will be easy for you. So where is services? Kubernetes services. There's so many videos. Which video it has a content? I'll just share with you later. Just remind me. Exact video I'll share with you. So you should know the services in and out about it, how it works. So that is the one thing. So let's move on. Now I want to validate if my application is running or not. So for that pod, and by now it should be running. So it's in here. Now what is happening, this is it will take some time for initializing, but I'll tell you one more thing. If it is taking little longer, then you do one thing, delete this pod, automatically it will be created and start running. So that is the thing. So just wait for it till it's running and get good. So everything should be here, details, product page, rating 1 2 3, 1 1 2 2 3. So 1 1 2 3, everything. Now so application is running. Now we'll have to get into the some of the managing the traffic and stuff like that. This will do that. So you can validate using this command. So verify everything is working correctly up to this point. Run this command to see if this happens. So basically this is a shortcut command to check the uh, what? So to check the IP address of services and all stuff like that. Okay, so you should see this output. So you can run this pod a command, and the pod output will be stored, and you should see this, then everything is working, and here it is. So you get pod and you are doing and getting that. So application is also deployed. Now we need to do what? Now we have to deploy our virtual services to manage the traffic from outside. So remember that we don't have a load balancer, so we have to work with node port all the time, and node port will use this one and all this stuff here, whatever it is. Any questions so far?
Rajesh, you just given this one, right? So everything we have to work on node port only, right? There is no cluster IP and nothing.
Okay, so I'll put it in this way. Understand this, how it works. So see, this is very important question. Okay, this is you, and you hit www in your laptop www.devopspool.com. So it goes to the DNS server, and from
Correct.
there it goes to the load balancer, which is external load balancer. This is what I am having. I don't have it. Okay, so whatever the header, the request www.devopspool.com, this load balancer will transfer this traffic to, in our case, Istio. Okay, are you understanding?
Yeah.
Okay, now whatever the header you have, you can take it out. So here we are having node port, load balancer to node port. Okay, so the traffic is, instead of load balancer, right now is coming from the node port. So whatever the header is you are passing from here, it will send to the Istio. From Istio, all the services which you want to transfer traffic. Make sense?
That load balancer, what actually is a physical one or Kubernetes? Kubernetes load balancer.
I don't have a load balancer, no.
Okay. For example, you're right now you're just giving an example. Okay.
See, this guy is missing right now. So the traffic is
Yes.
directly from the DNS is coming to the node instead of load balancer of network.
Uh,
Got it?
After node, it is coming to you.
Yes, after the node port, anyway, see, if you have a load balancer, it will come to the load balancer after the node port only. And from the node port, it will go to the Istio, I mean, Istio. But here I don't have load balancer, so directly from the DNS service go to the node port.
Yeah.
Why we use the load balancer? Because to
For
balance the
splitting the
node of the Kubernetes cluster. Correct
correct.
now? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's missing. Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay,
No question.
then we'll continue the sessions. So tomorrow I will cover few scenarios where to manage the traffic, and that is I
Can you
will
share
cover.
also
Yeah,
URL?
yeah. So I will cover that, how to manage the traffic when you have some errors, how to set up a timeout, how to set up a retry and stuff like that, and virtual
Okay.
services and stuff like that.
Okay.
So every day we will choose one. So fault tolerance tomorrow. Day after we have dark launch, and followed by one scenarios. We'll take it up every day. Okay.
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 Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
All right. Thank you. Bye
You
bye.